Hello and welcome to my conservatory. It's Saturday morning, hope you're keeping well. Right, get a chair, good firm chair, stand in front of it, facing away from it, but quite close to it. Now forget all about chairs, forget all about sitting down, just think of yourself standing here now. And think about the contact between your feet and the ground. And think of the support coming up from the ground, through your feet, through your legs, through your hips, through your spine, all the way back up into your head. Now give a little nod of the head at the atlanto-occipital, one semicircle delicately rolling on top of another, and ask to be soft and free in the back of the neck, and let the whole of your back soften and lengthen, let the whole of your back soften and widen. And soften and widen across your front and soften and lengthen in the front, from your hips to your shoulders. It's a long, long way from your hips to your shoulders. Just enjoy that thought. And soften deep in the shoulders and soften in the elbows and soften in the wrists. And soften and lengthen from your shoulders to your elbows. And soften and lengthen from your elbows to your wrists. Let your feet soften and lengthen, let your feet soften and widen. And soften deep in the hip joints. Soften all around the knees. Soften all around the ankles. And let your knees spiral out and away. And soften and lengthen from your ankles to your knees. Soften and lengthen from the soles of your feet to the crown of your head. Keep that thought going and add the idea of your bones being your coat hanger and the rest of your body hanging from your bones. Now put your feet a bit apart from one another. Still not thinking about the chair. Just coming into a lovely deep monkey. Until the point comes where your bottom touches the chair, and then rock back. Think of the weight coming up from your feet into your sitting bones. Just rest your hands on your thighs, and once again just give a little nod of the head at the atlanto-occipital. Ask to be soft and free in the back of the neck, the whole of the back softening and lengthening, and the whole of the back softening and widening. And soften and lengthen in the front from the hips to the shoulders. Think about the contact between your hands and your thighs. And without pushing down, just allow the weight of your arms and hands to drop down into your thighs. Think of the support coming up from your thighs, back up into your hands. Think of softening deep in the shoulders, softening in the elbows, softening in the wrists. Soften and lengthen from the shoulders to the elbows, soften and lengthen from the elbows to the wrists. 3 points of contact between each foot and the floor. That's the pads of the heels, the pads behind the big toes, and the pads behind the little toes. So without pushing down, just allow the weight to drop down through the heels into the floor. Support coming up from the floor into the heels. Weight dropping down through the pads behind the big toes into the floor. Support coming up from the floor into the pads behind the big toes. Weight dropping down from the pads behind the little toes into the floor. Support coming up from the floor into the pads behind the little toes. Feet softening and lengthening, feet softening and widening. And soften deep in the hip joints. Soften all around the knees, soften all around the ankles. Let your knees spiral out and away. And soften and lengthen from the ankles to the knees, soften and lengthening from the knees to the ankles. Softening and lengthening from the hips to the knees, softening and lengthening from the knees to the hips. Your whole self sitting here now, softening and lengthening, widening, releasing. taking up all the space you need. Don't try to make yourself small. Thank you.